The Martian dust storm had passed 3 hours ago, leaving Elsa Chen half buried in the russet regolith of Acidalia planitia. Only her head remained above the surface, her helmet's faceplate cracked in a spiderweb pattern that would hold, maybe, for another 20 minutes before catastrophic failure. She had stopped struggling an hour ago. The more she moved, the faster she sank. The electrostatic properties of Martian dust created a quicksand effect when disturbed, something the training simulations had mentioned but never quite captured. Now she understood why the old-timers called it devil's powder. Elsa's suit readouts scrolled across the inside of her damaged helmet. Oxygen, 12%. Battery, critical. Comm array, offline. The numbers didn't lie. She was 40 kilometers from Ares base, with no functional radio and no way to dig herself out. The storm had separated her from the rest of the geological survey team. When a gust clocked at 180 kilometers per hour had picked her up like a leaf and carried her 300 meters before slamming her into a boulder field. The irony wasn't lost on her. She'd spent 6 years training for this mission, survived the 9-month journey from Earth, and had been on Mars for exactly 11 days. 11 days, not even 2 weeks to explore the planet she'd dreamed about since childhood. Elsa closed her eyes. The sun was setting. She could see the familiar blue-tinged Martian sunset through her cracked visor. At least it would be beautiful. At least she wouldn't die in the dark. The cold was already seeping through her suit's thermal layers. Mars didn't forgive equipment failures. Without power for the heating elements, her core temperature would drop rapidly once night fell. The atmospheric pressure was less than 1% of Earth's. If her helmet breached, her blood would literally boil. She thought of her sister back on Earth, of the garden they'd planned to grow together when Elsa returned, of all the samples she'd collected that would never be analyzed, of the dissertation she'd never write. Elsa's breathing slowed. She stopped fighting the cold. Acceptance washed over her like a tide. Then she heard it. A voice distorted, distant, but undeniably human. Her eyes snapped open. Impossible. The team was hours away by now, probably back at base, organizing a search party that would take days to reach this sector. Even if they'd somehow tracked her trajectory, they couldn't be here yet. Signal degradation, attempting manual boost. The voice crackled through her helmet speakers. Male, young, struggling with something technical. "Hello," Elsa's voice came out as a croak. "Can you hear me?" Silence, then, "Holy yes, yes, I can hear you. Are you Elsa Chen, from the Ares IV mission?" "That's me," she said, hope and confusion battling in her chest. "Who is this? Where are you?" "My name is Harry Okonkwo. I'm—" A pause. "This is going to sound insane, but I'm in lunar orbit, on the far side of the moon." Elsa's mind struggled to process this. That's impossible. You can't have line of sight to Mars from lunar far side, and even if you did, the signal delay alone. "I know how it sounds," Harry interrupted, "but I'm using the new quantum-entangled relay system. It's experimental, technically not even supposed to be operational yet. No signal delay because there's no actual signal traveling through space. The data transfer is instantaneous through quantum correlation." Elsa's scientific mind engaged despite her dire circumstances. She'd read about the theoretical framework for quantum communication networks, but the engineering challenges were supposed to be decades away from resolution. "You're telling me you've achieved stable entanglement across interplanetary distances?" "Not me personally. Dr. Sarah Kimura's team at the Lunar Quantum Lab. I'm just a comm technician running diagnostics when I picked up your suit's emergency beacon. The entangled particles in your suit's backup transmitter are paired with our network. When the storm knocked out your main array, the backup kicked in automatically." "Why didn't anyone tell us we had quantum comms?" Elsa demanded, her anger at being kept in the dark momentarily overriding her gratitude at being found. "Because it's unreliable. Success rate is maybe 40%. They didn't want mission crews depending on technology that might fail, but right now it's working and I've got a stable link to you. Harry's voice became urgent. Elsa, what's your situation? She gave him the summary. Buried, cracked helmet, dying power, no mobility. Okay, Harry said, and she could hear him typing furiously. I'm looking at your suit telemetry. The crack in your faceplate is propagating slowly because of the low atmospheric pressure, less differential stress than a breach on Earth or even the Moon. You've got maybe 15 minutes before total failure. That's about what I calculated, Elsa said quietly. But your suit's emergency foam sealant should still be functional. Battery drain damaged the automated dispenser, but there's a manual override. Red lever, left side of your helmet ring. Elsa's heart sank. Harry, I can't move my arms. I'm buried up to my neck. The silence stretched for 3 seconds that felt like hours. Right, Harry said finally. Right. Okay. New plan. Your suit has microcompressed air jets for emergency stabilization in 0G. They're not designed for this. But if we fire them in sequence, we might be able to vibrate you loose from the regolith. The battery has enough charge for maybe 20 bursts. I'm running the calculations now. If we can create enough vibration without depleting your oxygen recycler, you might sink at first, but then the disturbed dust should loosen around you. Or I could sink completely and suffocate before I get free. Yeah, Harry admitted. That's definitely a possibility, but right now you're dead in 15 minutes anyway. This gives you a chance. Elsa laughed, a short, sharp sound. When you put it that way, all right, Harry from the Moon, what do I need to do? Access your suit's manual control interface. You should be able to activate it with voice commands if your helmet's AI is still responsive. Suit, Elsa said clearly. Voice command authorization, Chen, Elsa. Mission specialist credentials, Alpha 7 Niner Delta. Voice authorization accepted. Her suit's synthesized voice responded. Harry walked her through the sequence, firing the jets in pulses, left side, right side, front, back, creating a rhythmic vibration that made her teeth chatter. The regolith around her began to shift. She felt herself sink another few centimeters and panic clawed at her throat. It's working, Harry said, watching telemetry she couldn't see. The dust is loosening, keep going. 3 more bursts, 5, 8. The battery indicator dropped to critical levels. Her oxygen was at 7%. Then suddenly, her right arm broke free. Harry, my arm, I can move it. Don't stop, keep the jets firing. 4 more pulses. Her left arm came loose, then her torso. She pulled herself upward, fighting against the settling dust, using every bit of remaining strength. The regolith cascaded off her suit like water as she emerged. I'm out, Harry, I'm out. She immediately reached for the red lever on her helmet ring and pulled. Foam sealant sprayed across the crack in her faceplate, hardening instantly in the thin atmosphere. The propagation stopped. Elsa stood on shaking legs, looking at her suit readouts. Oxygen 4%, battery 2%, but alive, impossibly, miraculously alive. You did it, Harry's voice came through, and she could hear the relief. Now we need to get you moving toward your team's beacon. I'm going to route your location to Ares base through official channels. They'll send a rover, but you need to start walking to meet them halfway. Your battery won't last long enough for you to stay stationary. Harry, Elsa said, starting to trudge north by her compass. Thank you, you saved my life. We saved your life, he corrected. You're the one who had the guts to try. As she walked across the Martian plain, her footsteps leaving prints in the rust-red dust, Elsa kept talking to Harry. He told her about the lunar quantum lab, about his work, about the view of Earth from the moon's far side that he'd never actually seen because the lab was buried underground. She told him about Mars, about the samples she'd collected, about the dream that had brought her here. 3 hours later, lights appeared on the horizon. The rescue rover from Ares base, guided by Harry's coordinates. "They're here," Elsa said. "Good," Harry replied. "Listen, this communication has to stay classified for now. The quantum network isn't ready for public knowledge, but Elsa, don't stop exploring. Don't let this scare you away." "I won't," she promised. "And Harry, when I get back to Earth, I'm going to find you. I owe you a drink." She heard him smile through the connection that shouldn't exist, across the void where no signal should travel. "I'll hold you to that." The quantum link dissolved as the rover approached, but Elsa knew it wasn't an ending. It was the beginning of something new, a network that would bind humanity's scattered settlements across the solar system, instant and unbreakable. She'd come to Mars to study rocks. Instead, she'd found the future. And she'd lived to see it.